Heck, welcome to a What I'm Reading Right Now video. I have news, which is I finished a book that I have been reading for weeks, and that is Rhythm of War. And I finished it, I think, yesterday, and that's because I'm recovering from food poisoning. I've got allergies because it's spring in Australia, and so I took some time off to just recover and rest. And while I was lying there in my comatose state on the couch, I finished the audiobook for this, and I loved it. It was a 5-star book, and it focused more on almost the espionage in this book rather than the outright action. To be fair, there was action in there as well, but I like how this had a unique flavour and a unique take. In my opinion, each book feels very different, but it's following characters that we know and love in more unique ways. And I love that this had a different take on Kaladin, because there are things you've noticed about him in the previous 3 books. And one of those major things about him is notably the forefront in this story for his character development. And I just really appreciated the delving into mental health here that the other books hadn't quite done yet. It felt like it came full circle and I really enjoyed it. Additionally, I liked also reading about Adolin and Navani, and those are 2 more so side characters to our main ones, and they don't get as much airtime, I guess, as what I would say Kaladin does. For obvious reasons, he's a main, but I love the journey with Adolin's character, but again, I liked his foray into honor and being honorable, and I really feel like that is such an important keystone of his character, and we really got to see him approach and take hold of that in this story. And additionally, Navani, she has been such a sidelined character, always forced to be in the shadow of other people, namely Gavilar, the king in the first book, who at the beginning of the book was assassinated, and now push has come to shove, she's still within the royal circle, and she's always had to deny her scholarly interests and almost take a backseat to other people's interests, and therefore not take ownership of her identity. And I love that this book let her have space to do that. I just adored the character growth in this story, and even though it did take me ages to read, and I would often message friends and going, I'm still reading this, like I can't believe I'm still doing it, it's still so satisfying to finish. And I also cried in this book as well. It was so emotional and I loved rereading it. I've never reread it before. This is the first time. So it was beautiful to revisit this book and see everything about it that I loved again. Actually, also while I was lying on the couch and recuperating, I ended up finishing a non-fiction audiobook that I talked about in my last currently reading video, so I'll link that if you are interested. But I finished Cultish, which is the language of fanaticism, and I'll talk more about it in my November wrap up. But ultimately I liked it. I don't rate my non-fiction in terms of 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 stars, but it was enjoyable and I would say yes, give it a try. It delved more into case studies and anecdotes about different cults, especially in the modern day, rather than going specifically into psychological studies, but I still found it valuable when everything was compared to each other and we were shown what cults were and how they operated. I really appreciated it. I think it's a great overview of this topic, and I think I would like to read more about it, so I'll have to dig up more books on cults. If you know more, let me know, but as far as I know, I have no idea, so I'll have to go and do some Googling. But as for what I'm now reading, because I finished 2 books, which I found so freeing, I was like, I don't know actually what to read next. So I consulted my end of year to be read video to see everything that I was projecting to read for the end of the year. And I figured that I should get onto this reread as well before the year starts approaching, because I've got like 15 days, 2 weeks or so until Wind and Truth comes out, which is the final Stormlight book. And I know that's going to take me like 3 weeks. And that brings us to right towards that weird time at the end of the year when it doesn't really feel like time exists. It's like this year hasn't ended, but the next year hasn't started. So I'm going to finish a book and then jump straight into that time and just KO on the couch, I think, and enjoy video games and movies and stuff. I think that's what's going to happen. So I might as well get my reread in as soon as possible, and that is Fourth Wing. So I have a separate spoiler-free review of this. I've also got a spoiler reactions vlog as I'm reading the second book, Iron Flame, and all you need to know about this, a few buzzwords are War College, Dragon Riders, spicy romance. It was a fun time, and I gave it, I think, 3 or 3.5 when I first read it. I enjoyed the second book a little bit more, and I gave it a 4 stars. I was actually surprised at how much I enjoyed it. When I was listening to the audiobook narrator tended to read the action sequences faster, so I was sitting on the train listening to my audiobook and then getting stressed for the characters. It was a whole experience, and it was a lot of fun. So now I'm rereading this and refreshing my memory so that when I have the next book, Onyx Storm, that comes out in January, the 21st of January, I'm across across everything. I know what's going on. I know who the characters are. So I'm now 50 pages into this, and part of me is like, oh, I could continue reading this tonight. However, I also really want to watch Arcane season 2 because this is one of my favorite series of all time, and I've just not had time to sit down and watch it. So I think that's what Dave and I are going to do tonight, watch Arcane, because I'm chomping at the bit to watch it. It is incredible. It is so evocative and emotional. It's dark and gritty and just so good. If you have been on the fence about it, if you don't even know about it, I don't know where you've been, please watch it, because the animation, the music, the story, it's so good. It's so good. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Sorry, Fourth Wing, but Arcane definitely wins out on this one. I'll let you know in my next clip what I end up landing on, because, you know, I've just freed up my audiobook space and I have zero clue what to pick up there. So yeah, Fourth Wing is really the go at the moment. Arcane really is the priority. So yeah, I'll talk to you in my next clip. Okay, so I have an update for you, and that is I've started a new audiobook. I've also made some progress on Iron Flame, and I'm like 40% into this now. This is so much faster to read than my Stormlight reread, so I'm having a great time because I can get through it so quickly, and I'm also really enjoying the War College and Dragon Rider aspect of it. I'm just having a great time. I remember why I enjoyed this so much, because it was quick, fun, easy to understand, and you know, it's just formatted so well. The chapters are short, they're easy to get through. Anyway, it's just fun. I'm having a good time. So I really want to finish this ASAP. And when I first picked it up, I think I finished it in 3 days. So that gives you an indication that I can read this fast if I have the time to. And I haven't had the time recently, but I'm trying to make time. So I'm trying to get through it as quickly as possible. My next physical read after that book will obviously be Iron Flame, because I want to finish both of them in my reread before the next one comes out in January, like I said earlier. So those two are really my priority for the end of the year, and if I finish both of them, I think that takes me to about 71 books read for the year. And then obviously on my audiobook, I said I started a new one, and that is, I think, Big Witch Energy, and it's the sequel to Witches Get Stuff Done. So in the first book, Riley, our main character, moves to this island that her mum grew up on, but recently, in the past couple of months, her mum has passed away. So she's going to that island to reconnect with a long lost aunt, and in the process of reconnecting, she inherits a mansion. She realizes that she's got a responsibility to the magic on the island and understanding and managing the ghosts as well. And she also makes two friends, Alice and Caroline, and they form this almost coven of witchiness, and that helps them manage the ghost thing. So in the sequel, we are now following Caroline, because each book has a subplot of romance, and I figured after seeing Riley and Edison in the first one, that's their romance done, and in the sequels we'd follow Caroline and Alice. And lo and behold, Caroline's book is up next, and I think it's going to be a second chance romance, because this guy has just moved back to town. He's a doctor and he's got 2 teenage kids, but his ex-wife was not a nice person at all, so he's brought his kids back to where he grew up on the island, and he's trying to give them almost a new start. And at the same time, he dated Caroline in high school, like a high school sweetheart, and they run into each other, and it seems like there's still a bit of a spark there. So that's why it's a second chance romance. I think it's going to be sweet. I can't wait for the ghost discussion and for him to find out more. So I'm looking forward to reading more of that. It's just fun, it's light, it's bantery, and it's just easy to read. So I'm really lucky that I've got Iron Flame and that audiobook, because both of them are quick, they're quippy, they're easy to get through, and so I feel like I'm making a lot of progress, whereas during all of November, basically, I was rereading Rhythm of War, and so it felt like I was a little bit bogged down because it's such a long book. Even though I love that book, it still felt like it took me ages to finish, so I'm trying to get everything in before Wind and Truth hits my hands. So that is the goal, that is the update. I don't know when I'm going to do one of these again, because I've got Vlogmas coming up, which is where I do a video a day almost every day at the beginning of December. So I'm going to run from the 1st to the 15th of December, which is a Sunday to a Sunday. So you'll see me like daily in December for a little while, and that's why these will get a little bit of a pause on them. But I'm looking forward to that. Thank you so much for watching this video. Come chat to me down below in the comments, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.